And we're hot. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Mentors on Tap. I'm Doc Sheldon. My partner, Steve Grinkser, there is on the other side. And we're here to do something we've been threatening for a long time. And that was just a nice, loose, shoot the breeze about one of our favorite pastimes, fishing. And a little
Yeah.
bit of background. We were planning for Steve to come out and visit me here in Baja about this time this year. And then COVID came along and that shot that in the foot. So we figured, okay, we'll postpone it till next September. Hopefully by then things will settle into some sense of normalcy again. And that generally migrated into his dad's going to be around. So we invited his dad to accompany him out here. And the three of us were going to go out and do some deep sea fishing down off Ensenada. And then we thought, well, there's a lot of people we'd like to see and invite and get together with. So we turned this into a little conference, the first Mentors on Tap. And since we're going to do some deep sea fishing after the conference, we decided to call this Deep SEO Meetup. And uh, there, what we're going to do is we're going to have a one-day event. We're going to have 4, 5, 6 speakers. And then that night we'll have a big dinner with some drinks and time to get together and network a little bit. And then those that want to participate in the second phase of this thing will help us board some fishing boats about 2 in the morning. And we'll hit about 40, 50 miles offshore where the big fish run. And when I say big fish, I've done some offshore runs out of Long Beach where you go out and you pick up a 18 to 20 pound bluefin. That's pretty nice. They run about 80 pounds out here where we're going because this is where the migration schools run through, and there's a lot of nice big sport fish out there. Everything from marlin on down to groupers and bluefin, yellowfin, yellowtail, you name it. So it's going to be an event. We already have uh, a lineup of speakers that we're happy with. Some people that have already said that they're interested in speaking. We haven't gotten into the details with them yet, but it looks like, first of all, the first person I approached was one of the finest speakers I've had the privilege of watching, and that's Miss Lily Ray of New York. She puts on a dynamite presentation. And she has other commitments that she has to juggle around, so she can't make a firm commitment yet. Probably sometime early spring she'll be able to nail it down, but right now she's tentatively going to be our first speaker. Another one who has said that she's interested and willing is Aleda Solis. You know, you all know her. Another highly respected speaker that puts on a kick-ass show. Okay. And Bill Slosky has agreed to speak as well. He doesn't have to come quite as far, as has Jeremy Knopf, my crayon munching buddy from Florida. He's going to be bringing up the caboose on the speaking thing. He's going to be bringing something a little bit new and different to our typical digital marketing lineup. And I'm really looking forward to that. Jeremy puts on a heck of a fine talk as well. So that's going to be interesting. And then we have a couple of others that we have gotten tentative interest in speaking, but we haven't gotten close enough to where I'm willing to mention their names yet. But these are all people that we all know, okay? People that have spoken at many industry events in the past and put on some great talks. So our hope is that, in following with this deep SEO theme, that this is going to be this is not going to be your standard right quality content, the kind of gibberish that we hear so many times in some conferences. This is going to be some deeper stuff, whether it be technical or marketing techniques. These are going to be a little bit a cut above the average from some definitely above the average speakers. So this is what we're talking about. We're talking about probably give or take a week. We haven't nailed down the date yet, but roughly the first week of September. Okay. And it could be the end of, the end of August. It could be the end of the second week of September, but it's not going to move much more than a week either direction. What we're trying to do now is nail down our head counts, both for the meetup itself, so that we can nail down the venue and nail down how many people are interested in going on the fishing trip, because then we have to look at the boat. There are 50 footers available, and those 50 footers will typically take like 18 to 20 people on deck. And they'll max out that. They have their insurance requirements, so they'll max out their head count. But if we get enough interest, there's nothing to say we can't take 2 or even 3 boats. It's just a matter of nailing it down soon enough. Now, the thing to think about, if you think you're interested in this is peak sport fishing season down there. So right now, all the boats are available for September of 2021. I can't wait around till April to book a boat. We're going to have to do this fairly quickly to be sure it's available. So that's why we're going to start pushing right away for
Exactly.
people to sign up. But we have an RSVP form now on our site. We will put it down in the show notes, but it's basically it's on mentorsontap.com. If you look in the top nav, you'll see Deep SEO Meetup, and that page has an RSVP form. You can sign up right there. We understand that COVID is not gone yet. Things could not look great, and come July or August, we may have to say, geez, we're going to have to put this off a year again. But obviously, if we have to do that, it's only going to be from necessity. People have to be comfortable. And I know that some people are still uncomfortable about flying. I would be in that boat too. But we're trying to, we're looking optimistically at being able to put this on schedule. So please go to the site and take a look at there's a relatively brief explanation of what we're talking about there. There will be more and more coming out. If you're interested, hit the form. If you think you want to bring your spouse or girlfriend, boyfriend with you, that's not a problem. Right now, we're looking at the total cost for the fishing trip, which is going to include tackle, bait, license, everything, including lunch on the boat, is probably going to be about $150 a head. Okay. The venue, we're totally up in the air on, because it really depends on how large a venue we need. And it also, I need to get some feedback from speakers. Are these going to be a PubCon style presentation with a slide deck, and we're going to have projection gear and all that? Or are these just going to be a stand-up talk? Okay. I'm trying to, we want to let the speakers kind of call the shots on this, what they would really like to go after, as opposed to giving them here's 3 or 4 topics, pick one. Not interested in going that gambit. Obviously, these are not paid speaking slots. I do think that we talked yesterday. I think we're going to pick up the dinner tab for speakers. Obviously, dinner is going to be up in the air. Bear in mind the costs down here are a lot less than they are in the U.S. So, you can have a pretty good dinner with some drinks for $30-40 a head. So, that's up in the air still.
So where I'm hoping, and we're trying to, again, this is still a lot up in the air, planning our first conference, is probably the day before the conference, a quick early arriver meetup kind of deal where you're kind of on your own to pay for your food and your drinks, but we'll take over a bar or something, and generally just make that way anybody who wants to show up early the day before, they can do that. Those people who are more local might not come down until that morning. And then I think, we'll have the full day of presentations the following day, followed by drinks and dinner. And then the day after that, we'll go out and do some fishing. And when the boat hits the dock, then everybody's released to go do their own thing. We just want to try to make this as casual as we can, but still provide some value, make sure everybody enjoys the trip. it would be nice if we could make this somewhat more annual, where we have 1 day of conference and 2 days of fishing. So there's that option, down the road. But we're looking forward to what was going to be just a fishing trip and turning it into something more of a event and a conference. And obviously, we're far enough in advance. If anybody has any suggestions or has set up a conference on their own before and would like to offer some advice,
Absolutely.
absolutely, we're happy to take that. Otherwise, we'll just kind of, do like we always do, fly by the seat of our pants and blame it on the crayon munchers.
There you go. Also, I know some people in the past have expressed uneasiness about, because they've heard stories about driving into Mexico. It's not a big deal. There are places right on the north side of the border that for about $20 you can buy a day's worth of full coverage auto insurance that is recognized in Mexico, and most rental companies will allow you up to, I think the typical is about 25 miles within the border. You can cross into Mexico with a budget or Avis or Hertz or whatever and still be legit. And if somebody is going to be afoot, there are ways that we can either arrange for, a van, or maybe me or somebody in my family stops at the border and picks you up and brings you across and gets you back. Obviously, we're not going to leave you to hoof it back to the border. But, those are things that we can work out. For travel considerations, for U.S. citizens, in order to get entry back into the U.S., you can have a passport, obviously, or a birth certificate and a government-issued picture ID, like a driver's license. Okay. So, that is ample to get you back across the border. The other thing that I just learned very recently that I was pleasantly surprised about, you cannot take uncooked beef, poultry, pork back into the U.S. They just don't, it's kind of like the restrictions into California on plants and fruit. But you can take uncooked fish, which surprised me. I was pleasantly surprised to hear that. But up to 45 pounds of fish per person can be taken back into the U.S. So, if you plan on catching 300 pounds of fish, you want to bring a few people in your family with you to cover that.
Yes. Or I may be driving my big truck down there and we'll just load it up. And
there you go. The like I say, this is the first time that we've done this. We're trying to do it, more speaker focused. This is going to be, all conference events are highly networking focused, but this is not trying to make money. We're just trying to cover whatever costs there are.
Right.
And speaking of costs, just to make it interesting, my good friend from Skunk Works Custom Rods, Mr. Gerinxer here, is going to, Alchemy Skunk Works. He's going to be donating a custom-made deep sea rod, and I'm going to be adding a nice reel to that. So whoever gets the biggest fish has a prize to compete for. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Probably worth more than the whole trip.
Oh yeah, we're talking. These things are premium rods. I mean, we're talking several $100s for one of these things, and without the reel. So, it's a worthwhile. So if you happen to be a fisherman, this could be the kickoff to a nice lifelong habit. And there may be more. We have not yet lined up any sponsors. I do expect to be able to line up some sponsors who will be donating some prizes. Those may be subscriptions to their tools. They may be cash. They may be any number of things. The discussions are just starting with sponsors. So that's totally up in there. But we're trying to make this worthwhile. But we want to make it a fun networking event with some good takeaways.
Right.
And we're really pleased with the quality of speakers that we're going to have. So I expect the takeaways are going to be the real prize.
Exactly. In the future, we may look at doing classes or, more intimate things. But for now, this is a networking event with some awesome speakers, and then a very secluded networking event where nobody gets to leave because you're 50 miles offshore.
Gotta love a captive audience, right?
That's right. So you might want to save your elevator pitch for those guys.
Yeah, those guys who've never heard an elevator pitch before, right?
Right.
And actually, somebody was asking me if they could bring a client who happens to be an avid fisherman.
I have no problem with
I have
clients.
no problem with that at all. Again, gotta love captive audiences.
Exactly.
Of course, if
And
he's
one of our other goals with having this in Mexico was something we were talking about earlier today, is that there's not a lot of crosstalk internationally between the Mexican markets and industry and the American markets and industry. And this is a great opportunity for us to blend these two international audiences instead of making it a purely American thing. I'm really looking forward to that and seeing what's going on down south of the border.
there is a lot of activity down here, but like you say, it's very isolated from the U.S. It's very encapsulated down here. Zest Snap, who is down in the Guadalajara area, is going to be here. He'll be attending, and he can attest to this. He's pretty deeply entrenched in the Mexican digital marketing industry, and I had tried to set up a conference about 3 years ago that was going to be less marketing focused. It was more, marketing from the standpoint of startups for young entrepreneurs that wanted to launch a new business. And the state government and the federal government were interested in funding it. And I got all the way through verbal approval and promised the firm commitment within a week. And after 4.5 months of still nothing firm from Washington, from their federal capital, I had to cancel because it wasn't happening fast enough. But I had 180 signups within 10 days to attend the thing, and pushed me into a much larger venue right off the bat. And then I suspended signups. At that point, I had 550 people on a wait list, but these were all young Mexican wannabe entrepreneurs, and some of them were already entrepreneurs. There were also some it surprised me. There's quite a few seed investors down here who are interested in that sort of thing. So they have their own market. So as Steve said, that I think this is going to be a very interesting opportunity to see a little bit more of what's going on down here. I have been meaning to, and have not yet got off my butt and done it, but been meaning to focus more on the Mexican marketing market. Because I'm bilingual, and I live down here right now, so might as well. But I haven't gotten off my tail and done it. Damn it. Stupid marketers ruin everything.
Yes, we do.
Spam callers.
It's our job. Find something that works and beat it to death.
So anyway, that's the nut of it. We're going to be kicking this thing off. So you may be getting spammed by us. At any time, you can always say, "Go away, leave me alone," and then we will. But until we hear that, we're going to keep sending you notices, updates, and whatnot. They will be posted on our site as well. And there's a lot of you out there that I know I have been wanting for years to be able to make it to some of these conferences to meet. A lot of folks out there that I think a lot of and would love to get to know. And I'm looking forward to the fact I'm going to get to put some of those behind me.
This
We've
will
got
be a
folks
big
coming in
one.
from New York, Florida, Washington State, the four corners of the country. So, and a couple possibilities actually from the UK, if they can make this trip dovetail with another business trip, it makes it worth their while to pay for that kind of airfare. So we're going to have some good turnout. It's going to be a good time. And hey, even a bad day of fishing beats a good day at work, right?
Yes, it does. It does very much. Just ask I sponsor a young bass junior fisherman, and he had his first tournament of the year since COVID, and they got rained on hard, almost sank the boat. And
That's rain.
yeah, that's a lot of rain. And he won. He won the junior division, got big fish in the tournament, and
Sweet.
smacked his dad upside the head with a 2.5-ounce jig head. So it was a good day for him, and he earned himself another custom fishing rod, because that's the deal we have. He wins the tournament, he gets a new rod. And of course, this is painful for me because I just gave him one. Now we get to give him another one. So I'm proud of him. He's doing an excellent job, and we're going to have some fun with this. It's going to be the next big thing.
So watch out, PubCon. We're on your tail.
That's right. We're going to have real entertainment.
Like an elephant crawling up or an ant crawling up an elephant's leg with rape on his mind. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I have a great joke about that, but I think I should hold that till we're off the air.
Well, there you go. Let me stop the recording first. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, folks. Hope to see you all down here in Baja next September. And meanwhile, stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy.
If you're interested or think you might be, reach out to Doc or I, or go to the website. And as we get closer, we'll start letting people know more of the details.
Bye all.
Bye.